So we're not going to hang out with them. That's why we get on Alizé about hanging out with them, man. Chopping it up with them, as so to speak. Because that's nothing but confusion. Why would you hang out with people that are into something that you're not into, man? And then they curse your God. Don't you know there was, you can get that for me, don't you know there was a Israelitish man whose mother was an Israelite and his father was an Egyptian? And they had a little striving. This was during the time of the children of Israel coming out of Egypt, and he cursed the Most High. So what they did was they put him in ward. If you can get it, you get it. If not, I'll find it. All right. So what happened was they put him in ward, and then they went and inquired of the Lord as to what they should do to this man. Meaning they went to spiritual men, that the Most High talked to these spiritual men, and they said, what should we do about this matter? Because this man didn't put no respect on the Most High's name. And that's why Birdman got mad. I understand why he got mad, you know? I mean, somebody don't put respect on my name or whatever. I'm not going to kill the person, but I'm like, look, why don't you put some respect on it, man? Put some respect on it. This man didn't want to put no respect on, that's how you spell it for now. That's how you say it, brother. You know, the credit goes to Birdman. Hey, but anyway, he didn't respect the Most High because he gave him a bad name. He said he blasphemed his name. So what did the Most High tell him to do? He said, kill that guy. And I'm pretty sure at that scene, they were kind of like, they were smart, but they were like, damn, Most High ain't playing, man. Most High said, kill that guy. We're going to have to kill that guy. So why would you hang out with guys, even though they're Israelites? Why would you hang out? There's no way in the hell I'm going to hang out with a dude that calls on the name of Yahweh. There's no way I'm going to hang out with a nigga like that, man. Or Yeshaya. Because that's not the Most High's name.
This is Leviticus 24:10. And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel.
So what happened was, when they were in Egypt, you had Egyptians or Mizraim, the people of Mizraim, getting with our women. And then you had Israelite men getting with Mizraim women or Egyptian women or Kemet women, man. You know how Jake is, man. And then she had a son by this man. And when they went out into the wilderness, you know, she was an Israelite, so she took her son, which was a heathen, a mamzer, into, can we use that word? Okay, I'm going to look it up, though. But, yeah, to go to the, yeah, bastard, yeah, a mamzer, yep. And showing you that she was probably, now the Egyptian, the man either died, you know, it doesn't tell you what happened to the father. He either stayed behind or he was in the Egyptian military and he died, or whatever the case may be. Based on what we're reading, the father wasn't around. All right? So here this Israelite woman took her son, which showing you that the spirit comes from the father. Whatever your father is, that's what you are, okay? It's not how black you are, how so-called white you are. You know, it's the spirit that's in you. So here they are. They went out into the wilderness. Went through the sea, the Suez, that was the Suez Canal, and they went into the wilderness, and this was the beginning of them going into the wilderness. So the first generation was there, and you know, he was so-called hanging out and chilling, chopping it up with other Israelites, and they all knew that the name of the Most High, Yahweh, because Moses done taught them. But before Moses taught them, they knew before that the Most High's name was Yahweh. And the other nations knew that the Most High's name is Yahweh. Because you got these guys from the GOCC, and we keep getting on them guys, but that's the spirit on us getting on them. Talking about, the reason why we don't use the name Yahweh is because the other nations used it. Well, wait a minute, so big deal. The other nations knew the name. They knew the power of the Most High.
It says that the Most High's name is fearful among the heathen, something like that.
That's what it says. That's what it says. So like the story of, like I did a little sit down on Balaam and Balak, man. And it said in Numbers 24 that it said the man whose eyes were open said. So what did that mean? What did it mean by his eyes were open? His spiritual eyes were open. In other words, the Most High, gave him intellect. Let him see the future. Then he went and told Balak, the king of Moab, that, look, man, let me tell you something. You're not going to curse these people, but this is what's going to happen to you. He said, these people that you want to curse, at the end of days, they're going to kick your ass. They're going to kick Esau's ass. They're going to kick all these different nations that you see around about you. He said they're going to kick all of their asses. That's what they're going to do. So if the Most High came to them like that and showed a Balaam, a man that was not an Israelite, that said that when he died, that he died and come back as an Israelite, I'm merely paraphrasing. If the Most High came to him, didn't he have to know the Most High's name? Now, I don't tell you that in the scriptures, but the Most High worked with this man. The Most High showed this man something that was going to happen that haven't even happened yet. Yeah. That's going to happen more than 2,000 years in the future. He said, ultimately, this is what these people are going to do to you. They're going to mess you up. And they're going to mess up all the other nations round about you. And then the Canaanites, they spoke, like if you put in Canaanite language or ancient Canaanite language, it's going to be the ancient Hebrew. Because we were from that same region, man. So them Canaanites spoke Hebrew. And then they gave their children Hebrew names. And they knew about Alashadja, and they heard the name Yahweh. So you come on, and then Elder Rakar said, this is going back maybe 7-8 years ago, and he told me that. He said on a video. He said, the reason why the name of the Most High is not Yahweh, Esau the Illuminati put that in there, something to that effect. So when I did my checking, I found out the real name. You ain't find out shit, man. Okay? But anyway, going back to that thing, that shows you the importance of that name, that when this guy didn't put no respect on the Most High's name, that the Most High said, look, kill that little mamzer.
That's right. This is back in Leviticus 24:10. In the center of it. It says, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of Israel strove together in the camp. So he was fighting with a Jake. And the Israelitish woman's son blasphemed the name of Yahweh and cursed. And they brought him unto Moses, and his mother's name was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan. And they put him inward, that the mind of Yahweh might be showed them. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, bring forth him that hath cursed without the camp, and let all that heard him lay their hands upon his head, and let all the congregation stone him. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, whosoever curseth his power shall bear his sin. And he that blasphemeth the name of Yahweh, he shall surely be put to death. And all the congregation shall certainly stone him, as well the stranger as he that is born in the land. When he blasphemeth the name of Yahweh, shall he be put to death. So put some spec on the Most High's name.
And I think that guy's back. I think I know who he is, too.
All right. So, as Pastor Tar went over in the book of Acts 11 chapter, dealing with Cornelius in Acts the 10th chapter, where it spoke about there's an unlawful thing that of a man that is a Jew to keep company of one that is of another nation, which Lord's will, we get a chance, we're going to go over that word. But I just want to go here to the book of Habakkuk, because see, that's where the misconception comes. But the Lord set it up that way because the Lord has stumbling blocks, in the scriptures, for those that he doesn't want to get the understanding.
Yeah, he said it's a mystery. Yep. What is that? Colossians 1:27, the mystery that is among the Gentiles, among the Israelite foreigners.
That's right. And this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 5. It says, behold thee among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. Why? Because, you know, when Israel went off, when they got pushed to the side, you know, to the Jews, the southern kingdom, they were like, man, there's no more hope for you people. You're just basically like heathens. So they had no clue or no idea what was going to happen in the future, even though the Lord wrote about it in the Old Testament. You know, to show you that they're not open. That veil was still over their eyes. Even though they were masters of the Old Testament, masters of the law, their eyes were still blinded. It says, behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days which you will not believe, though it be told you. Why? Because to them, the Israel was just gone. You know, that's what when you read in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, it said that all the seed of Israel was cast out except for the tribe of Judah. They were the only ones that were there, and eventually they were cast out too. So seeing that the Jews knew that, because they knew the history, they knew the law, they knew the Tanakh, you know, their whole mindset was like, look, the only ones that is here is just us, and that's it. The other tribes, they're lost. They're out there as those heathens are, you know. So that was their attitude about it, like the parable of the prodigal son. That was Judah, Benjamin, Levi, the southern kingdom, and the remnant of those that stayed there, and the prodigal son was the Israelite foreigners that had fallen away, you know. So the Lord is rejoicing that these Israelite foreigners are being brought back to the fold, because this is His plan.
Let me go back to Acts 10:28. It says, and he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew, a proper Jew, to keep company or come unto one of another nation. But the Most High has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. This was the Israelite, all right? It said, therefore came I unto you without gainsaying, as soon as I was sent for. I asked therefore for what intent ye have sent for me. And it says, and Cornelius said, 4 days ago I was fasting until this hour. And at the 9th hour I prayed in my house, and behold, a man stood before me in bright clothing, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thine alms are had in remembrance in the sight of the Most High. So this guy was this is the most humblest Edomite that ever lived. This dude was so bad, this devil was so bad, that he got the Most High to say, damn, I like this Edomite. How stupid can you be? How stupid can you be? How can you be so stupid? That's why people know, even the ones that hate us, they know where the men. Baloo knows where the men of the Lord. Alizé, he knows where the men of the Lord. Okay? All these guys know where the men of the Lord. All right? Because if you're teaching otherwise, from what we're teaching, you look, the Most High ain't dealing with you, period, all right? But anyway, now let's go back to the 28th verse, right? It says, okay, which we broke this down before. Another nation, right? And the other nation is Fulos. And it's a compound word, right? It means foreigner, right? Let me go to the compound word. Okay, the second part of the compound word, which is Fula, which means a tribe. In the New Testament, all persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob, a nation people. Let me read that again. This is from the word Fula, a tribe. In the New Testament, all persons descending from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. So what is it telling you? That Cornelius had to come from one of the 12 sons. It didn't tell you whether he was a Judite, Benjamite, Levite, but he was from one of the 12 sons.
And that's why that's you have something?
Yeah. The book of James, 1:1. It says, James, the servant of the Heavenly Father and of the Lord Yahushua, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. So why would James write that letter? And why would he specify 12 tribes? Because even now we taught, even back in the school, the old school, it was taught that the 10 tribes came over here. But what was not taught was there was a scattering of the rest of the tribes still hanging around Jerusalem and outside of Jerusalem. If that's not the case, James wouldn't have wrote that. He wouldn't have wrote to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. He clearly says 12 tribes. Not just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
That's right. Yeah, and that's why this is written, Isaiah 11 and 13. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. Because that's what it was going on. It was a vexation, because the Jews weren't allowing the other Israelites to come into the fold.
And what about Anna, the prophetess? Well, she was called a prophetess. Her father was of the what? Of the tribe of Asher. That's located in the book of Luke.
All right, so going back to Psalms 106 and 37. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. And the land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Lord kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance. So he avoided his own inheritance. And that's why this is written here in the book of Hosea. Just bear with me 1 second. It's the book of Hosea, the 8th chapter and the 8th verse. And it says, Israel is swallowed up. See, because they became destroyed, destructured. Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. Because the Most High wasn't taking pleasure in that vessel anymore, because they became defiled.
This is 1 Peter 1, verse 1. It says, and this was after it was established that these Gentiles were allowed to come in, which were Israelites, all right? 1 Peter 1, verse 1. It says, Peter, an apostle of Yahushua, Mashiach, to the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Now, if you look up the word stranger, right? It's from G3927, right? And it says, Paripadimos, which means one who comes from a foreign country into a city or land to reside there by the side of the natives. A stranger, sojourning in a strange place, a foreigner. So when Peter was when he said what he said in 1 Peter 1 verse 1, and he called them strangers, he was talking about Israelites that were outside of Jerusalem, or outside the so-called land of Canaan, that came in. And then you had Israelites that knew that they were Israelites that were born in foreign lands that came to keep the Passover, like the account in, Acts the 2nd chapter. That was talking about Israelites that were living in other lands, like you had the what you call the Greek Jews, the Hellenized Jews. They were living in Greece and Egypt, but they knew that they were Israelites. Their first language could have been whatever language, whatever land that they were born in, but they knew some broken Hebrew, and they knew to come together 3 times out of the year, and that was to Jerusalem to keep the feast. But then you had another group of Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, and they saw what was going on in Jerusalem and those surrounding areas. And then when Paul and them went to the other